Well, friends, I got to see the AMC screen unseen last night of Hunting Matthew Nichols, the independent horror film. And I got a message for Hollywood. Hollywood, come here. Come here. For the love of all that's holy, literally, can you stop with the Satan and the cults and the minions of Satan? This is like 4 or 5 films this year in 3 months. It's getting old and boring. I review Hunting Matthew Nichols, the AMC Screen Unseen, up next at Mark at the Movies. Well, last night's AMC Screen Unseen was the independent Canadian film Hunting Matthew Nichols. And I'll get right to the point. It's not great. There's some stuff in it that's fine, especially the last 5 minutes. There's a nice jump scare and some interesting concepts in there. There is a animated sequence in the middle of this film that is actually excellent. But you take out those 4 minutes or 5 minutes of screen time, and this is a film. It's an hour and 20-minute runtime without the credits, and it felt every minute of it. And this is just, it's a tough slog to get through. Look, there's a difference between slow burn and interesting and slow and boring, and this was the second one, sadly. Well, what is it about? Well, it's a film, a found footage horror or documentary about a young woman who's investigating her brother's mysterious disappearance on Vancouver Island 2 decades later. And she begins to believe that her brother might still be alive after his disappearance 20 years ago. And this is it's a mockumentary, or it's not a true story, but it's very much a Blair Witch Project-y ripoff. And there's even some accolades to Blair Witch in the middle of this. They literally talk about the film, so kind of a wink with a wink. It's kind of really it's meta for a little bit, and it's like, we don't need that. We can see this is literally the Blair Witch Project. So it's directed by Markian Tarasuk. Markian Tarasuk. Sorry about the pronunciation, Markian. But he directs it, and he's in the film as well. And he probably shouldn't have cast himself. He's not very good in it. The lead actress also, you could tell she probably has some talent. Her name is Miranda McDougall. She plays the lead character, Tara Nichols. You can tell she has some talent, perhaps, but the script doesn't do her justice. You could tell that, as the movie went on, that that they were line reading, that this wasn't kind of an impromptu or improvisation, that they knew where they were headed, because they probably weren't talented enough to do that, but they had line readings, and the acting is a little stilted in this, honestly, and it's a slow burn. It's hard to get through. You know where it's headed early on. The director really kind of ham-handedly sets out clues for you, and you're like, oh, okay, the boys did this, and they did this, and this is what happened, and this is what's going to happen, and they're going to... Yep, okay. Now, that being said, there is a spectacular scene in the middle of this film about legends. It's an animation that's really well done. It reminds me, hear me out, it reminded me a little bit of Coogler with Black Panther and a little bit of Sinners, but that's a 35 to 40, maybe a minute and a half section of the film that I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh, that's really... Oh, okay, we're not really going to do very much with it. And here's the thing. The end was really ambitious. I really enjoyed. I mean, there was a one really decent jump scare, and there was some interesting um, cinematography and angles and horror, and the way that they kind of crafted the last 4, 5, 6 minutes was really well done. It didn't make sense with the script. They really laid it out for you, the legend of this boogeyman in the woods with the cabin, and they show you an animated picture of like 6 or 7 or 8 cabins in this wood with all of these different people that were murdered in this legend. And when you finally get to it, you're like, oh, cool, you're going to see the whole village and all these people. It's unclear. I understand budget restrictions, and I understand that that fear and horror comes out of not understanding or not clearly directing or communicating. But if you're going to indicate this hard, you better deliver. That's what I think anyways. Hey, look, this made the festival rounds a few months ago, and I'm sure that when you're sitting in there and you're watching 3, 4, 5, 6 movies in a day, and this comes up, you're like, whoa, this is different and interesting on its own. This movie sucks. It's not really that good. It's not worth the hour and 20-minute investment for the 4 minutes that are solid. Miranda McDougal gave it her all. I think Markian Tarsuk might have some talent, perhaps. He shouldn't cast himself in films. This is a miss. This is going to come and go in the theaters. Nobody is going to see this when Super Mario Galaxy is coming out and you have all the big summer movies coming out. So, how about you? Did you get to see the AMC Screen Unseen last night? Do you like horror? Do you like the Blair Witch Project? Hey, I literally respond to every single comment on this channel. Will you give me a like and subscribe? Let's talk about movies. Let's continue to go to the movies at Mark at the movies.